The Tie and Hoodie Show is sponsored by ICCLending.com. For real estate service, please go to ICCLending.com.
3, 2, 1.
Every human came to earth with a gift, and they must discover that gift and refine that gift for them to be fulfilled.
The prerequisite for spending time with any person is that they nourish and inspire you. They feed your flame.
Yo, hey man, how you work this radio?
You're now listening to the Tie and Hoodie Show.
Keep it locked.
Owning a home and paying it off is one of the data points of an everyday millionaire.
Home sales across the U.S. are on the rise as buyers take advantage of record low mortgage rates.
Good morning. Now let's get back to the Tie and Hoodie Show.
Good morning. It's the brand new. Can we say brand new still? It's week 3.
It's still brand new.
Still brand new.
Yeah.
The world famous Tie and Hoodie Show.
Yeah.
You can catch us at www.tieandhoodieshow.com. I'm your host, Trevon Smith, also known as Trey. And this is my wonderful co-host,
Andrew Jessicoba.
Andrew Jessicoba is the president of ICC Lending, as well as the author of the book Credit Repaired.
Credit Repair Simplified. Absolutely.
It's been a couple shows. We talk to each other, you know what I'm saying? We kind of like the way the feeling of the show go, and we like what we're giving to the K-Day community. We
love what we've been doing because this is a show about personal development. It's a show about financial literacy geared towards minority. We want to make sure that everybody is getting information that will get them to the next level.
And that's very important to us. Yeah. Like you said, this is something we've done before. We're back. We're trying to give you a better dosage of this. But today is our first guest.
We have a guest.
We have a guest today, all the way from North
Carolina.
North Carolina. This is something, before it used to be kind of weird to do Zoom-in calls and conference calls, but 2020
with COVID.
Unprecedented. It's more of a thing to do. But this guest right here has a success story that we came across. Andrea put me upon it. I got a chance to look at the story. I was like, oh, this brother right here is something that we're trying to implement at the Tie and Hoodie Show. Somebody who's progressive, positive, and making a difference within his community and as a person.
I mean, this guy right here, you guys are gonna you want to tune in and you want to hang tight. This guy right here is gonna change your life, because when I saw his story on LinkedIn, I said, you know what? You have to, I connected with him and I said, you have to let everybody know about your story, because he exemplifies what everybody is trying to get at, especially when you're in a situation where you've been pressed down, put down, and people are telling you that you can't get to that next level. This brother right here has actually done it. He's still doing better things, but he's gotten to that level where everybody will want to listen and really get the story. And we hope that this is something that's going to light that fire in you and get you off that couch, get you off that job, get you off that, worry, and go to the next level.
Something to motivate you. With all due respect, and that being said, we want to welcome to the show Mr. Jarell.
Yes, thank you. I'm happy to be on the show, and I definitely appreciate you both inviting me.
No, it's definitely our pleasure. Go ahead and give us a little introduction about yourself. Don't get into too much meat of the, meat yet. Let us ask the questions. But go ahead and give us a little introduction about yourself so the listeners can get a better understanding of who you are.
Yeah. So Jarell Moten grew up in a small town, Kinston, North Carolina. One of those towns where if you look at a map, it probably won't be there, and probably like 2-3 stoplights. So really small town, man. Ended up moving to Raleigh, North Carolina, where I did my undergraduate at North Carolina State University. So really been in the Raleigh area ever since. After school, locked in a job within the financial industry. Ended up getting a couple of licenses, FINRA license. So I had the Series 7, 63, 9 to 10. I did 2 masters, and then also, recently I passed all of the CPA exams. So accounting/finance is kind of my niche, so to speak.
Now, was that something you always wanted to do growing up, or what triggered that somewhere in your life where you was like, I'm going to go do financing? Because I believe that's something we need more in our community, and we need to teach our kids to be more involved in.
I agree, man. your question, like, no, initially, that wasn't really part of my game plan. Like, I actually went into my undergraduate doing, it was called a transition program, so I didn't even really, like, declare a major. It's kind of me just trying to figure out exactly what I wanted to do. I came across accounting, so I fell in love with that, but, like, my first job out of school, like I said, I worked in the financial industry. To your point, what really clicked for me and what's driving me within this industry is the fact that I noticed, a lot of the people I was dealing with when it came to, like, investments, their 401ks, it was a certain population. It wasn't really too many minorities I was dealing with. So that just really triggered something for me to really want to just change the game, man, and make sure I'm doing my part in educating, the generation after me on how to invest and save for the long term.
Well, let's, Jarell, this is Andrew. Let's rewind back for a second. What got me connected to you on LinkedIn was, you posted a picture on LinkedIn with you sitting on a car wearing a white T-shirt. I mean, a white, what do you call those things? Is it a white beater they call it, or what do you call it?
Yeah, like a cutoff.
A cutoff, right? So you were wearing a white one with shorts, and you sat on a car. And this picture, I mean, with your permission, we're probably going to post it on our website. But this picture had you holding 3 degrees, and one of the stories on the picture was saying that contrary to what your high school teachers had told you, here you are with your 3rd MBA. I mean, that's just mind-blowing to think that somebody will tell you in high school that you're going to amount to nothing, and now here you are, you're getting your 3rd MBA, and that's just the beginning for you, right?
Yeah, it was a interesting thing, man, and it's an unfortunate situation, but in my case, luckily, I was able to kind of use that as fuel and take another direction. But I think it just highlights, really a couple things. I mean, within the school system, for that to be put in a letter of recommendation to a college that I was trying to attend, that I had a 50% chance of being successful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you imagine a kid that already has issues with being motivated, and they hear something like that, and if they don't have the support system to kind of kick them back in gear, like I did, I had my mom, my dad, my big brother, but imagine somebody just seeing that and running with it, really feeling like that's the case. But like I said, with me though, luckily I did have a good support system, in my mom, my dad, my big brother, and I just took that situation as where something where I just had to prove them wrong. And I think another thing that was kind of troubling about the letter is that there was a piece where it kind of asked, like in the application, to explain the environment of the candidate, and she put in there that I come from an environment of parents that don't work, and like I mean, it's just like don't get me wrong, I didn't come from an environment where everybody was rich and had a mansion or anything, but I mean it was some hard-working parents in my area, man. So for her to even kind of make that assumption, I just think it says a lot to kind of these preconceived notions that some of the teachers have towards black men, and I mean just the minority population in general.
Mr. Jarell, this is Trevon. So I actually spend time at secondary schools, and I run across a lot of teachers that have something, how we just say something slick to say. Something slick to say to the kids, and then these kids don't know how to respond right, and they always respond negative. So I tell them it's gonna happen in life where people say stuff to antagonize you and to get you kind of upset or get your engine rolling. But what you have to know is they know how to go back and write it correctly and say, oh no, this student was provoking me. So your story is definitely a beautiful story, and that's why we wanted to have you on here, because it's a lot of people who've been through this, and you're getting to tell them, hey, I've been through it, I didn't sidebar it, I just made the correct situations out of it, or correct adjustments, as I should say. And now this is me, Mr. Jarell.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it just speaks to, like I said, and I know not all teachers, not all school systems are.
By no means, not all.
But, it even goes back to the thing where, one of the things I do with my nonprofit, man, is I try to eliminate the whole concept of, you have to go to school or be successful in school in order to succeed. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, I know education is important, but I think, too, sometimes that discourages our youth when they're consistently hearing, they might not be performing well in school.
Yeah.
And kind of the message that we're sending is that it's over, and that's not the case. I know so many people, man, successful people who did different things, started their own business, whatever it is, and they didn't take the education route, and they still ended up, being successful. So I want to make sure, too, the message that's being delivered is, okay, if you're not doing well in school and school is not your thing, it's not over. Let's talk about some other options, some things that you can get into.
I totally agree with you. This is Andrew again. I totally agree with you 100%, because some people feel like, they have to go to school and get, a master's degree and a PhD to be successful. That's great, and that's gravy, and that's all good. But there's so many avenues in life that you have to take to be successful, not only just financially, but be successful as a human being, because it all depends on how we define success. So our goal is as a show that is catered around personal development and financial literacy for minorities. Our goal is to continue to educate and encourage and uplift people, to let them know that just because somebody put a label on you in high school as a failure or as somebody who has a 50% chance of success, that doesn't mean anything at that point. That's just their perspective, And going back to your story again, if our viewers are listening, is you had somebody had a recommendation that you had a 50% chance of success in college, and since that letter of recommendation had been written, you had gone in and you've gone way beyond that. Now you've had 2 masters, you have passed your CPA exam, you're a financial analyst, working in a great company, and you also have a nonprofit doing big things for people in the minority world. And this is just a great testament, and that's why we wanted to bring you on today, to let people know that a label on you in high school or even in college, you shouldn't take that as the final say.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I think the battle, always kind of starts internal with yourself, regardless of, like you said, what's being said about you on the outside or by other people. I mean, the biggest thing, or at least for me, from my perspective, kind of what I've been through, is, I had to get in that mindset where I believed in myself. Because, I mean, I'll tell you, man, like, I was, I come from, like I said, a small city. The school I went to was predominantly black, and I'm glad I did attend a school like North Carolina State, which is, a PWI, because, for one, it allowed for me to communicate better with different groups, and then, 2, it built my confidence throughout the years, because when I first got there, like, I'll be honest, I had doubts about myself, man. And it's, one, I had that teacher saying I had a 50% chance. 2, sometimes the way the media portrays, the black male and kind of just this stereotype that in order for a black male to be successful, he has to be playing sports or rap, in the music industry. So it was a lot of these factors where internally I just had to kind of break that barrier and say to myself, like, I can do this. So I had to believe in myself.
Hey, I'm loving everything about what you're saying, man. I wish you was Clay. We're going to have to definitely get together. We're going to have to come down there and get you out this way. But I want to pick your brain for a minute. We got millions of people listening on the West Coast and, we, all around the world. So I don't mean to put you on the spot, but this is what we do as people. You know how it is when you go to the family house and the uncle pop up. So here we go. I want to know, what would you tell the average person listening in right now, because it's early in the morning over here on the West, what would you tell the average person that's living paycheck to paycheck and, and does not see light at the end of the tunnel? It's a two-part question. What would you tell that person at that job living paycheck to paycheck as far as what they can do as a person, and amongst positivity? And the second part of the question is, what financial advice would you give them if they've been at that job and they're just living paycheck to paycheck? What can they do to, help their financial situation better mentally and as well as physically as far as the income in their house?
Yeah, I would say mentally, like the first thing is just to come up with a game plan, man. And I know that's more easier said than done, but the good thing about the kind of this era that we're living in right now, man, this information age, this big data age, is like, at the tip of our fingers, literally at the tip of our fingers, there is so much information out there, man, and it's so many different hustles, if you want to call them, or whatever, man, where you can research these things, and stuff that you can do on the side, part-time, or whatever. But the main thing is just really kind of doing that research, getting the information together, and then developing that long-term plan. I think everybody can say they've been in a position where, and it might be something people are going through currently, where they're not happy where they're at, but it's really just getting in that mental space, coming up with a game plan and truly believing and seeing yourself in a different light. And from the kind of the financial part of your question is, like, I've been there, man, where throughout college I was working at Hardee's, and so just trying to figure out ways that I could still save money with such a little paycheck. And it got to a point where, and even now, man, I live by this kind of code where, I have this concept where I say pay myself. And what that just means is, man, I literally had to reevaluate all my financials to a point where I said, okay, each month I'm going to pay myself this much. And then I would work down from there to figure out, how I could spend my money. So if it was a situation where I had to cut certain things off, then that's just what I did. But the main goal was for me to each month, treat myself as a bill, and I would have to pay myself. And ever since I did that, man, and start thinking like that, that's really how I got in the habit of saving money.
Man, Mr. Jarell, you're giving us the conversation we're having today is, this could be 10 shows. We could be talking forever, right? I wanted to drill down to some things here. You talked about mindset, you talked about game plan, and you talked about long-term plan. Those are three things that are really difficult for a lot of people when they are down or they are bottom or they are ends to say, I want to have a mindset, I want to have a game plan, and I want to have a long-term plan. I would really like you to kind of rewind, walk us through the process of this long-term plan. Because when I saw you with a picture of 3 degrees, those degrees, 2 of them were master degrees. Yep. It takes a lot of time, effort, and work to get 1 master degree, talk less of 2, and then you pass your CPA exam. People don't understand the gravity of work that it takes to get to that level. It's a ton of reading. It's a ton of putting in time. Can you encourage our listeners and just enlighten them on the process of just going through that process of what you've gone through?
I think it always, anything you do, man, and especially when you have such a big task in front of you, like you have to understand your why, and my why, where it might not seem big to someone else, it's mine. Like it's my why, it's my purpose. So like what really drove me to start off with and understanding my why was kind of going back to, like I was saying, where you have all these misconceptions about the black male, and that all we can do is play basketball or rap, and like my why is literally I just want to eradicate that whole thought. Like I just want to be that person that can show people that you can start a business, you can go through school and do all this, but the actual process, once I kind of understood my why, like you said, it's a lot of reading, it's a lot of work going into that. But I always tell people, and I'll give you a kind of be more specific in my example. So let's say I'm going through school and I have an assignment that's due 2 weeks from now. Well, in my mind, I'm already kind of thinking a month out, and that due date, I'm actually in my mind saying, no, I need to have it, done a week prior. And what I'll do is, with that assignment, let's say it's, let's say it's like 3 chapters involved. Maybe I'll do chapter 1 and 2 the first week, but within that week, I'm literally reading 3-4 pages. So it's kind of this whole thing of you have your end goal, and then you break that end goal up into smaller parts to where you can accomplish it and manage it based on your time.
No, I'm a true believer in that. I believe small goals become big goals. So I think it's important for kids. They're saying, college degree. I said, hey, don't forget to reward yourself for the smaller accomplishments, because it's a mind motivation that you need to have in order to move in this life where everything is so fast and furious. But Mr. Jarell, man, I promise you, I definitely appreciated your conversation. You're somebody, I'm going to talk to Andrew, we got to have you back on more often, because your energy, I can feel it, even though you're so many, thousands of miles away. I can feel your energy, and you motivated me this morning. So I want to appreciate your time, man. I want to, definitely get you back on the show at some point in the future, like an ASAP, next month.
Real, yeah, like tomorrow if we can. But here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. We have a lot to unpack. I mean, the reason why we brought you on the show is to show people that you can basically have goals. There's ways to go about having goals. There's ways to go about explaining goals and then getting to your goal. Because our time is limited here. How can people get in touch with you? If they want to kind of contact you directly.
Yep. So I always tell people they can leverage social media. So my name up there is Jarell Moten. I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook. I also have, for my nonprofit, we have the website. It's called the Financial Shack Inc. and it's www.thefinancialshackinc.
And that's can you spell that? The Financial Shack? Can you spell that out for us?
Yeah. So it's just like the THE Financial Shack is SHACK.
Okay, good. SHACK.
.com.
Okay.
So the financialshack.com.
They can reach out there.
That's www.thefinancialshack.com, right?
That's correct. Yep.
Perfect.
Once again, I want to thank you for your time, man. And like I said, we'll have our people reach out to your people and get you back on the show. We definitely appreciate your time. You got Mr. Jarell on the phone with us all the way from North Carolina, K-Day community. Show this man some love. Go support him. Go to his website. Show him some love. Hit him up. Let him know his conversation was heard. And like we said, we'll have this conversation up on our website. Yeah. Our website with your contact information again. But I just want to, man, tell you, we definitely appreciate your time this morning.
Oh, yeah, no, I definitely appreciate y'all reaching out and having me on. Look forward to talking to y'all again, man.
You too, man. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you so much.
Hey, that conversation right there, that's something I needed. I know people liked it because I liked it.
That was serious. I mean, just what this guy has been able to accomplish in such a short time, it's mind-blowing. And, and at that age and what he's doing for the community, in his community, I had to reach out to him on LinkedIn and say, bro, you have to come bless us with this knowledge. And I think that's something that I think our listeners will be able to, benefit from.
And there's one fact that I want to touch on. When Mr. Jarell said, you could work a 9 to 5, but nowadays, if you're living check to check, there's different things you can do. So me and Andrew had a long talk on the way down here. So we wrote down a couple things that you can do besides work your 9 to 5. So if you're listening, you can start a social media page or a website page. You can hire somebody off like Fiverr or whatnot.
Yeah,
and then
Upwork,
just create a social media page. But here are a couple multiple jobs you can do while you work a 9 to 5. You could become a photographer. You could create a e-commerce store, a virtual assistant, get paid for using your car, deliver food for restaurants, edit videos, learn how to edit videos. It's not that hard with the phones that we have nowadays and the computers. You could teach English from home to foreign students.
Absolutely.
A lot of people are not aware of that.
Yeah.
You can sell t-shirts, make t-shirts, be creative. You can start a blog. A lot of people want to hear what you have to say. Maybe you're a foodie and you go to different restaurants. You could try to publish a book. You could test websites, invest in stocks if you're more advanced, or if you're trying to learn as I am. We had that conversation. Deliver pizza. You could watch kids on the weekend. You could watch pets or take pets walking. You could get paid to exercise, become an exercise coach. So those are some things we're trying to bring with the Tie and Hoodie Show that you can do as well to increase your income if you're working a 9 to 5. You could do this. You could be your own boss. And who knows, some of these side jobs might eventually take over your main job if you promote it right. And there's all kind of information that you have at your fingertips from the website, from any website and the internet.
There's so much that is available nowadays with the internet. I mean, we are in the United States of America, number one, and two, we have the internet. You know, it's all about your perspective. Like Mr. Jarell was saying, you know, he had a 50% recommended chance of succeeding in life, basically from high school.
And no teacher should ever tell a student that.
No teacher should ever tell a student that. I mean, but at the same token, he took that, and that became a raging fool. Now he has 2 master's degree. He's a CPA. He's a full-fledged financial analyst. I mean, how better can it get?
Hey, with that being said, don't forget the Tie and Hoodie Show is sponsored by ICClending.com. We're here every Sunday, 6:30 to 7 a.m. every Sunday right here on 93.5 K-Day. You can also check us out to hear past shows, tieandhoodieshow.com. It has all our social media links. Andrew.
Hey, thank you guys for tuning in every Sunday, 6:30 a.m. to 7 a.m. Believe it, you're going to go home with something. We're going to energize you. We're going to shock you with knowledge.
We'll see you next week.
Hey, do you have valuable information that can help your community?
Okay.
And you'd like to be a guest? Hit us on our social media.
Do it now.
The Tie and Hoodie Show is sponsored by ICClending.com. For real estate service, please go to ICClending.com.